Pace 1127. This is the seventh pace in the course. We're on page 12 and 13. Just a real quick, this is like a refresher. I know we had this back in Algebra 1, but it's probably been a while since you've done simplifying of radicals. There is no number that off the top of your head you can say, oh yeah, 8 times 8 is 64, 9 times 9 is 81. Whoa, what number times itself equals 75? There is no rational number, no just solid number. So what we need to do is break this down to the numbers that make it up. So we're going to think of all the numbers that multiplied together equal 75. So 3 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. Okay. Or you could think of 15 times 5, but anyways, 3 times 5 times 5 is 75. So I've broken it down to all the prime factors that make up 75. Now, square root of 5 times the square root of 5, I like to say that when you have anything times itself like this, this number under the radical pops out. Okay, now you could go through the extra step of saying 5 times 5 is 25, the square root of 25 is 5. That works. But the shortcut for thinking this through faster is to say if I have the same two radicals side by side being multiplied as they are, then this pops out. Okay, so I have 5 on the outside, but the square root of 3 I still have under the radical. So I have to keep the two together. Now let's take 48. Let's think about all the numbers that make this up. 4 times 12, so I have square root of 2 times square root of 2. Times square root of 2 times square root of 2 times square root of 3. Okay, 4 is 2 times 2. 12 is 4 times 3, so 2 times 2 times 3. So here again, I have two 2's side by side, so that pops out. These two come together and another 2 pops out. And then the 3 stays under the radical. So in this case, my final answer is going to be 4 square root of 3. Now, could you think of that another way? Sure. You could think of this as the square root of 16 times the square root of 3. And if your mind immediately sees that and you recognize, square root of 16 is 4, then you got there right away, okay? Faster. The cool thing I like about this method is it always works for every type of radical, okay? This method you're depending on yourself remembering what all of these possible perfect squares are that could be taken out. Let's think about 54. I'm going to take you back through this method here. So 54 is 6 times 9. 6 is square root of 2 times square root of 3. 9 is square root of 3 times square root of 3. So here the 3 pops out. These two come together to just be the square root of 6. Now we always put the real part first, so we would say 3 square root of 6. All right? Again, if you saw right here, square root of 9 is 3, boom, leave the square root of 6. I guess I really should write it like that, okay? Same here. To be more clear as a teacher, I should be exact in what I'm writing. So the square root of 6 times the square root of 9 is kind of like breaking that down. Square root of 9 is 3, and you're left with square root of 6. All right, let's talk about this one. These I just made up. This is one of the ones from your homework. The square root of 25 pops out, and I have 5. Now I keep the square root of x, okay? But now I can multiply these two together and get 10 square root of x. Now what's the square root of 36? 6? I heard you. All right. So minus 6, we're going to keep the square root of x. Square root of 9 is 3, so I'm going to leave the 5. Times, okay, that's what this, when they're right up against each other like that, it means times. So I have 5 times the square root of 9. Square root of 9 is 3. All right, so now we can do minus 15, keep the square root of x. All right, now I can just put all these together. 10 minus 6. Okay, get that answer in your head. Take that number, minus 15. and that's going to be your coefficient, and since they all have the same radical, you just tack that on. Okay, so I'm going to let you finish that one. And they only gave you a few. There's not too many on this lesson, but hopefully with that little refresher course, you'll find the rest of the problems will be pretty easy to do.